Hi folks, I'm Mark with ProLine Range Hoods. Now today we're going to show you how to install the PLSI 440 model. This is an island hood that's a round cylinder model. And this installation video is also good for our PLSI model 570, another round cylinder model. Here we have the main unit. We've unpacked it and we're inspecting it. We've already inspected it for the operation, and we've already inspected the second box that comes with the 440 shipment, and that is the glass. Now if you're using this installation video for the 570 model, you won't have the glass, you'll only have one package. Let's look at the glass here. You can see how this is going to install. You have 4 holes. The bolts are going to come through here. You're going to remove the filter from this side, and you're going to reach up through here and install your bolts right here and make your electrical connections. So, important thing to remember here is, here's your controls right here. These line up with one of our posts, one of our bolt posts, so that we orient our mounting bracket correctly, and also when we position the main body of the hood. Here we have the end of the hood, and you can see where the electrical connections come out. We want to make sure we mark this as our front, and you can see it's got our protective plastic on the hood, so we can write right on that and not worry about it. So this is going to be our front. We're going to orient the hood body so that this is for the front of the hood. So then we're going to transfer that mark up to the top of our bracket, just so we remember that this is the front of our bracket. The hood basically comes assembled out of the box, so what we have to do is disassemble it. We're going to remove the 4 screws on the outside that are holding our stainless steel sleeve up, and then we're going to slide this sleeve off. You do need to be a little bit careful here. It still does have the protective plastic on the hood, but you want to be careful that you don't scratch it. But right now what we're going to do is just slide this down, and you'll see that there's going to be some screws right here that mount the mounting bracket to the mounting plate. So we're going to go ahead and unscrew those. Okay, now we've pulled down the sleeve and we've removed it. We can see the supports now. We have the main ceiling bracket. We have the support brackets that mount to the ceiling bracket. We've removed a couple of the screws here. Now this is a good time to figure out exactly how tall you're going to need your range hood. Most range hoods are between 28 and 36 inches off the cooktop. Now for this model we would recommend 32 inches off of the cooktop. For the sake of this demonstration, we're going to assume we have about an 8.5 foot ceiling. So we need the overall height of this unit to be about 36 inches. But the math is really simple. Most cooktops are at 36 inches. You're going to add 30 inches for your clearance. And so whatever the difference is between your overall ceiling height and your 66 inches, that's your cooktop, and your clearance, let's say you want 30 inches over your cooktop, then that's the height that you need to make your range hood. If you're installing this on less than an 8.5 foot ceiling, you would just, very simple. These side brackets are angle iron, and you go in and you cut those either with a hacksaw or a die grinder, and then you install the screws that come with that are already installed here, and you install those to the height that you need it. So you can see it's easy to adjust. Okay, so we've removed the screws. We're going to remove our mounting bracket. On the top we marked where we need our controls to go, so I'm going to transfer that over because I'm the one who always forgets. So I wrote front. This is where the front of the hood. Now in our demonstration studio here, we have our front here. We've already cut our hole. Now we cut the hole this big because we wanted to show you how to install it with blocking. You can see that this hole falls right between the joists. So we've installed heavy-duty blocking. If you need to know how to do this, you can watch our video on how to install the island blocking. That way you have great blocking, great support for your new island range hood. We've already installed that, so we're going to go ahead and attach directly to that. Now, in this application, we're going to run this as ductless, but if you had your ductwork, you'd have it right here. This is where it would be coming down. You'd have your elbow here ready to attach to. Okay, now for most of you, you won't start with a pre-cut installation hole here. So here's how we got to this point. Our stove is down here. We've taken a plumb line to mark where our center is. We've also taken our tape measure and we've measured across our bracket. Now here we've got 13 3/4 and it's round. So what we've done to cut our hole is we've taken our center point and we've marked it about 12 inches and we've drawn a circle and we've cut that. First thing we did before we just cut this big circle is we cut a small circle to feel around, look up in there, figure out where our supports are to see what we're dealing with. Then we went ahead and cut our big circle. So we're at that point, we've got our blocking in. You can see our blocking video. Now we're ready to install the bracket. Now one of the things that I do is I always draw a center line. So you can see my center line right here. Now I know that that needs to line up from front to back right in the center. So I've got my center line marked here, and I'm going to line it up with my marking here. Okay, now with my bracket I can see where my 4 points are almost like the points of a compass. I've also marked corresponding points on my wall or on my ceiling. So now we can see, using my centering guide, exactly where that needs to go. Once I check and see where this mounting bracket needs to go, then I see where my blocking is. Then I can mark exactly where I need to drill holes in the bracket in order to hit my blocking perfectly. Now my blocking is set up so that it hits as close to the main support points as possible. The main support points on the 440 and the 570 are these 4 points right here, so you want to get your blocking and your support and your mounting screws as close to those support points as possible. So we have our mounting bracket, we've drilled our 4 mounting holes, we've got some 2.5 inch grabber screws, and we're using a small washer to help give it some more support. So that once we drill this up through the hole, the washer and the screw are going to support this and hold this tightly to the ceiling. Now what we're going to do is hold it up in place. I'm going to install a short little grabber screw to hold it while I put the rest of the screws in. That way I can move it around. I marked the 4 points where this needs to be mounted. I'm going to put a small screw in right here just to hold it. And then I'll pull this out and replace it later. This just holds the bracket while I'm installing the rest of the fasteners. So now I have 4 of these, like I said, 2.5 inch grabbers. They're going through a 1/2 inch sheetrock and into the stud, so that'll give us 2 inches into the wood for these screws. Okay, now at this point, once again, we just want to check, make sure our controls are on the front, make sure that we're lined up, make sure we're exactly where we need to be. This is also where you'd bring your ductwork in, make sure that it was hanging down. We've set our hood height, so these brackets are at the right height. We're going to remove this. Now, from experience, it's much easier to get this protective plastic off of the stainless steel now than it is once it's installed, otherwise you'll leave a line. That means that you can also scratch it. So what we do is we remove the plastic, and then we're going to replace that with some paper that we can slide out a little bit easier. So now we've removed the protective plastic and we've replaced the upper portion. To protect the stainless steel, we've used some paper. Now these are just 8.5 by 11 sheets taped together with some masking tape, partly because we don't have wax paper. That's what I normally use. So if you've got wax paper, use it. Don't use newspaper. It's just too easy to tear. This paper has a nice, a polished feel to it, so it'll slide in and out. It'll come off really easy. It'll also protect the stainless. Now because the height of our hood is 36 inches, we don't have to worry about this stainless steel down here because the scratches, any scratch that happens down here won't show. Now one of the reasons you do want to protect these with some paper is the grain in all of the cylinder hoods will run this way. As you move this telescoping chimney up and down, even the slightest scratch is going to really show. So it's important that you protect this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slide this back in and we're going to carefully push it down into place. And there, see how easy that was. Now you can see how easy that slides up and down, no scratches. Okay, so we're ready to install the unit. Now really at this point, this is a 2-man installation. It's either a 2-man or you'll have to build some platform up here that's high enough so that you can hold this up while you're installing it. You can see that for one person it's not bad, but it's really impossible for me to hold this in place and try and get my hand up there and install these screws. So we're gonna install this and we'll be right back. Okay, so there, we're installed. We've installed our 8 screws at the top to mount to our mounting plate. And now would be the time when you would run your electrical. You got your electrical here. So you'd go up and you'd plug in, and then you would also, this is when you would connect your ductwork. So we've got the electrical, we haven't plugged it in yet, and we've connected our ductwork here. Now it's time to install the base unit. So you're going to use the 4 nuts from the installation package, and then again you're going to have somebody hold it here. You don't want to break your glass, you want to hold it here, get it positioned exactly right, and tighten those nuts up. And then you'll plug everything in, and then you'll plug it in and you'll test it before we slide this up. So we'll do that now. Okay, we've attached the main control unit. Now we're going to go underneath and make our electrical connections. So here's our control connection, and our control connector is back up in here. So you want to push those together until they click. Then we'll make our lighting connections. Now these can only go one way. So very little chance that you can screw this up. So we'll connect all 4 of these. And then the moment of truth, we get to test it out. So now that we've made the electrical connections, I can go ahead and plug it in and I can test it. So here the lights are on. All 4 of the lights are working. The fan low speed, fan medium, fan high. So it works. Now we're going to go ahead and slide our sleeve up, remove the paper, and we'll be done. So now what I have to do here is I have to line up our mounting holes. We can peel back some of the paper so that we can see the holes in our chimney. Right there up. Okay. So we've installed our 4 screws that will hold up the inside of our telescoping chimney. Now we can remove the paper. And you can see how easy that slides out. Now all that's left to do is remove the rest of the protective plastic on the lower chimney and polish it up and clean it up. So we've removed the protective plastic and we're doing the final polish. Now, one thing important to remember on these hoods, always clean in this direction. This is the direction that the grain of the stainless steel runs. So you'll want to wipe the stainless in that direction. So there you have it, the installation of the 440, the 570. They're both basically the same. Very simple, easy to do. Take your time, you'll get it right, and you'll have a range hood that lasts for years. If you have any questions, you can go to our website, drop us an email, or give us a call. Thanks for watching.